Ever felt like your emotions control you? It's a feeling many of us know well. Like being on a wild roller coaster, sometimes thrilling, other times just plain scary. We get tossed by waves of anger, sadness, or anxiety. These feelings can seem so big, so overwhelming. They can make us say things we regret, or do things that don't align with who we want to be. It's a tough spot to be in, feeling like a passenger to our own feelings. But what if I told you there's another way? What if we could learn to understand these powerful forces within us, not to suppress them, or pretend they don't exist? Instead, what if we could learn to navigate them, to acknowledge them, sit with them, and then choose our response? This isn't about being emotionless, it's about being emotionally intelligent. It's about finding the courage to face our feelings. This journey of understanding and managing our emotions is what we call emotional regulation. It's about finding that inner space, that pause between a feeling and a reaction. Are you ready to explore how you can become more of the driver and less of the passenger on your emotional journey? Let's begin. So, what exactly is this emotional regulation we're talking about? Let's break it down simply. It's our ability to manage which emotions we have, when we have them, and how we experience and express them. It's not about getting rid of emotions. Emotions are our internal messengers. They tell us important things. Anger might tell us a boundary has been crossed. Sadness might signal a loss. Joy connects us to what we love. Emotional regulation is about listening to these messengers without letting them take over the entire ship. Imagine you're stuck in terrible traffic. You're late for something important. Your heart starts pounding. Frustration bubbles up. One response might be to lean on the horn, shout, and let that anger consume you. Emotional regulation offers another path. It allows you to notice the anger, acknowledge it, and then choose a more constructive response. Maybe you take some deep breaths. Maybe you call ahead to say you'll be late. It's about having a choice in how we respond to our inner world and the world around us. Think about receiving critical feedback. Emotional regulation helps us pause. It's about showing up for our lives even when it's hard. One of the most hopeful things about emotional regulation is this. It's a skill. It's not some fixed trait you're either born with or you're not. Just like learning to ride a bicycle or play a musical instrument, emotional regulation can be learned. It can be practiced. It can be strengthened over time. This is incredibly empowering news. It means that no matter where you are starting from, you can improve. You can grow. Think about it. When you first learned a new skill, were you perfect? Of course not. There were probably fumbles. There were moments of frustration. Maybe you fell off the bike a few times. Learning to manage our emotions is no different. There will be times when we react in old ways. There will be times when our feelings feel too big to handle. That's okay. That's part of the process. The key is to approach it with curiosity and self-compassion. This skill doesn't develop overnight. It requires conscious effort and consistent practice. It's about making small changes one step at a time. Developing emotional regulation empowers us to live more aligned with our values. It's about reclaiming our agency. Why should we invest our time and energy in learning emotional regulation? Because it sits at the very heart of our overall well-being. When we can navigate our emotions more effectively, the benefits ripple out into every area of our lives. Think about mental health. So much of anxiety and depression can be linked to feeling overwhelmed by our emotions, or stuck in unhelpful emotional patterns. Learning to regulate these feelings can significantly reduce stress and improve our mood. Then there are our relationships. When we're dysregulated, we might lash out at loved ones, we might withdraw, we might misunderstand or be misunderstood. Emotional regulation helps us communicate more clearly and kindly. It allows us to listen with more empathy even during disagreements. It helps us build stronger, more resilient bonds based on mutual respect and understanding. And let's not forget our relationship with ourselves. How we manage our emotions profoundly impacts our self-esteem and self-worth. Ultimately, emotional regulation is about creating a more stable, peaceful inner environment. It's about building a foundation for a more wholehearted life. Section 5. Our brain's symphony. Understanding emotions and responses. Our brains are truly amazing organs, constantly working to help us make sense of the world. When it comes to emotions, there are a couple of key players we should know about. Think of the amygdala, deep in our brain, as our emotional smoke detector. It's super fast and its job is to alert us to potential threats or important emotional information. It's what makes your heart race when you hear a sudden loud noise or feel a surge of anger when you perceive an injustice. Then there's the prefrontal cortex, located at the front of our brain. This is our brain's CEO. It's responsible for rational thinking, problem-solving, decision-making, and impulse control. It helps us think before we act. When a strong emotion gets triggered, the amygdala can sometimes sound the alarm so loudly that it temporarily hijacks the prefrontal cortex. Emotional regulation is about strengthening the connection and communication between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. When we practice techniques like deep breathing or mindfulness, we are actually training our brain. The wonderful news from neuroscience is that our brains are incredibly adaptable. You can literally rewire your brain to become better at managing your emotional responses. Section 6. Anchors in the storm, simple tools for emotional grounding. When strong emotions sweep over us, it can feel like being caught in a storm. We need anchors. Simple, practical tools can help us find our footing and calm the internal turbulence. One of the most powerful anchors is our breath. Deep breathing activates our body's natural relaxation response. Inhale slowly through your nose, hold, then exhale through your mouth. Notice how your body begins to settle. Grounding techniques reconnect us with the present moment. Try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. 5 things you see, 4 you feel, 3 you hear, 2 you smell, 1 you taste. These techniques are simple by design. Section 7. Expanding your toolkit. More ways to find your calm. Beyond breathing and grounding, there are other wonderful tools we can add to our emotional regulation toolkit. One very effective strategy is learning to reframe our negative thoughts. Our thoughts and emotions are deeply intertwined. Often it's not just the situation itself, but our interpretation of it that fuels difficult emotions. Reframing involves noticing our unhelpful or distorted thoughts and consciously challenging them. Asking ourselves, is this thought 100% true? Is there another way to look at this situation? For example, if you make a mistake at work and your immediate thought is, I'm a complete failure, that's likely to trigger feelings of shame and inadequacy. Reframing might involve changing that thought to something more balanced and compassionate, like, I made a mistake, and that's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. What can I learn from this? This shift in perspective can significantly lessen the emotional sting. Journaling is another fantastic tool for emotional processing. Writing down our thoughts and feelings can help us gain clarity and distance from them. The act of writing itself can be incredibly cathartic and insightful, helping us to understand our patterns. Remember, the goal isn't to find one magic bullet. Section 8. The path of practice. Embracing imperfection on the journey. As we explore these tools and strategies for emotional regulation, it's so important to remember one crucial thing. This is a practice, not a pursuit of perfection. There will be no graduation day where you receive a certificate for perfect emotional regulator. Life just doesn't work that way. Our emotions are a fundamental part of being human, and navigating them is a lifelong journey. The goal is progress, not an unattainable ideal of constant, unwavering calm. There will be days when you feel like you're making great strides. You'll successfully pause before reacting. You'll reframe a negative thought. You'll use a breathing exercise to calm your nerves, and those moments are worth celebrating. But there will also be days when old habits creep back in, when you get overwhelmed, when you react in a way you later wish you hadn't. This is not failure. This is part of the learning process. It's an opportunity for self-compassion, not self-criticism. Think of it like tending a garden. Some days the sun shines and everything flourishes. Other days, weeds pop up or unexpected storms roll through. Your job as the gardener is to keep showing up, to tend to the soil. Section 9. Your inner strength, stepping forward with courage. We've journeyed together through the landscape of our emotions, exploring what it means to regulate them. We've seen that emotional regulation isn't about suppressing our feelings, but about understanding them. It's about responding to them in ways that serve our well-being and our relationships. It's about recognizing that big feelings are part of being alive, but they don't have to dictate our actions or define who we are. This understanding is the first step towards a more peaceful inner world. Remember, this is a skill you can cultivate. Like any skill, it takes practice, patience, and a whole lot of self-compassion. The benefits are profound: better mental health, stronger connections with others, and a deeper sense of self-worth. Your brain is wired for this growth. It's ready to learn and adapt. The simple tools we've discussed, deep breathing, grounding, reframing thoughts, journaling, are your allies on this journey. They are anchors in the storm, available to you whenever you need them. I want to encourage you today to choose just one small strategy. Maybe it's taking 3 deep breaths when you feel stress rising. Perhaps it's noticing one negative thought and gently questioning it. Small, consistent steps are what build lasting change.